Have you ever wondered why some habits are just so hard to break? Well, the good ones feel impossible to even start. Well, today, we're going to dive into the science of desire itself. We're going to learn how to flip that script and make the good habits the ones you actually can't resist.
So let me start by asking you something a little weird. Why on earth would a brand new baby bird, totally dependent on its mother for food and survival, choose a piece of cardboard over her? It sounds crazy, right? But the answer to that question reveals a fundamental secret about what drives all of us.
All right, so to get our heads around this, we actually have to explore some of nature's most, well, bizarre obsessions.
So, back in the 1940s, this Dutch scientist, Nico Tinbergen, who later won a Nobel Prize for this stuff, he noticed that baby herring gulls peck at a little red dot on their mother's beak to get fed. So he tried something. He offered them a fake cardboard beak that had 3 giant red dots on it. And the baby birds went absolutely nuts for it. They preferred this exaggerated fake over their own mom. He saw it again with geese. They have an instinct to roll any stray egg back into their nest. But when he put a volleyball nearby, they'd try to roll that instead, even harder. Their little bird brains were just hardwired with a simple rule: bigger is better.
And this is what Tinbergen called a supernormal stimulus. It's basically an amplified, souped-up version of reality that hijacks our instincts even more powerfully than the real thing. It's like a glitch in the system, an instinctual bug. And as we're about to see, it's a bug that has some pretty huge implications for our modern lives.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this isn't just about birds. This exact same principle is playing out all around us every single day.
The most important thing you gotta remember is that we're all walking around with brains running on ancient hardware. Seriously, we have the same Paleolithic brain our hunter-gatherer ancestors had. And that brain is programmed with some very old survival rules. Crave salt, crave sugar, crave fat. Why? Because for most of human history, calories were super scarce. It was a brilliant survival strategy back then. But today, well, it's created this dangerous mismatch between our ancient cravings and our modern world of crazy abundance.
And you know what? Modern society is a total minefield of these supernormal stimuli, all precision engineered to exploit that ancient brain. Junk food? Oh yeah, it's designed to hit the perfect bliss point of salt, sugar, and fat, way more potent than any apple or berry. Social media gives us an endless stream of praise and approval, more likes in an hour than our ancestors got in a lifetime. They're all just exaggerated versions of things we are naturally wired to want. You know, the neuroscientist Stefan Guyanet just nails it when he says, we've gotten too good at pushing our own buttons. Food scientists, tech companies, marketers, they have perfected the art of creating these irresistible temptations that our old-school brains just can't ignore.
And if you look at the trend, it's pretty clear, right? Society is just constantly finding ways to create more and more concentrated rewards. We went from natural foods to hyper-engineered junk food. We went from telling stories around a campfire to these incredibly immersive, realistic video games. The rewards just keep getting stronger, more available, and way more addictive.
So what is actually going on inside our brains that makes these urges so powerful? Well, let's get into the science of wanting.
Okay, so the key player in all of this is a chemical you've definitely heard of: dopamine. Now, for the longest time, we all thought dopamine was the pleasure chemical, but new research shows it plays a much more interesting role. It's not about pleasure, it's the chemical of desire. Take a look at this graph. It shows what happens with dopamine during a habit. And here's the crucial point. Notice the spike doesn't happen when you get the reward. No, the biggest spike happens in anticipation of the reward. It's the craving, the desire, the motivation to act. That's what dopamine is fueling. It's the feeling that gets you off the couch to go grab that cookie in the first place.
This uncovers this really critical difference between wanting something and liking something. Wanting is the motivation to get it, driven by that big dopamine spike of anticipation. Liking is the actual satisfaction you feel once you get it. Think about it. Wanting is scrolling through a food delivery app for 20 minutes. Liking is just the first 2 bites of the burger. Our brains, it turns out, are built for the chase.
And get this, the brain's actual architecture proves it. Researchers found that a key part of the brain's reward system is almost entirely dedicated to wanting and craving. The circuitry for actually liking something and feeling pleasure, it's a tiny fraction of that size. Desire, not pleasure, is the real engine that drives our behavior. Okay, so this all sounds a little bit scary, right? But what if we could use this knowledge not just to resist bad habits, but to build good ones? How can we make things like exercise or studying just as appealing as scrolling social media?
This brings us right to the second law of behavior change. Make it attractive. If you want to build a habit that actually sticks, you have to tap into that powerful dopamine-driven wanting system. You have to make the anticipation of doing your good habit feel rewarding.
One of the most effective ways to do this is a strategy called temptation bundling. And the idea is just brilliantly simple. You link an action you want to do with an action you need to do.
For example, there was this engineering student, Ronan Byrne. He loved watching Netflix, but he knew he really needed to exercise more. So what did he do? He literally hacked his exercise bike so it only streamed Netflix if he was pedaling at a certain speed. He bundled the temptation of Netflix with the habit of exercising. Even a huge company like ABC did this with their TGIT, Thank God It's Thursday campaign. They encourage people to pair their favorite shows with treats like wine and popcorn, making it this whole rewarding weekly ritual.
So, how can you do this yourself? It's a really simple three-step process. First, identify something you want to do, a guilty pleasure, checking sports scores, whatever. Second, identify a habit you need to do, like making sales calls. And finally, you just link them, so you only get to indulge your want after you've completed your need.
In fact, here are the exact formulas you can use. First, you stack your needed habit right after a current one. Then, you bundle your wanted habit immediately after. So, for example, after I get back from my lunch break, I will call 3 potential clients. After I call 3 clients, I will check ESPN. See what happens? Over time, your brain actually starts to look forward to making those sales calls because it's anticipating that rewarding ESPN check. You've made a boring habit attractive.
Look, the modern world is in an arms race for your attention, designed to make you crave things that don't really serve your long-term goals. But by understanding the science of desire, you can take back control. You can become the architect of your own temptations. So the only question left is, what irresistible habit will you engineer today?